more of the helicopters today. Behind me, that is the PLA Army, and first of all, we're going to go to their stages because they have brought the latest developed model of China PLA Army today. Also, they brought the largest fleet of helicopters to this expo. Let's go and see. Well, the PLA Army has developed 3 new models here in these years, and this is the one. Well, you can see the one in the middle. This is the new model, the Z20, the latest mountain lift, medium lift utility helicopter that China developed, which just made a debut during the National Day parade last week. Well, it has a twin turboshaft engine, the WZ10, domestically developed in China, and also you can see it is a 5-blade rudder, also with the capacity of carrying 10 tons of payload. Traveling, also operating in plateau areas. And over here, this is the model developed in 2017, and this is Z19, a scout and light helicopter. Mainly, it is for recon missions with light armors, including small-range air-to-air missiles. And over here. Widely used the attack helicopters in the PLA Army aviation. You can see that it has a stepped cockpit with cameras and also guns at the front, and it could carry 8 to 7 air-to-air missiles and anti-tank missiles with guided missiles by the pilot through the helmet. And also you can see there are also rockets as well. So these are the 3 major types of PL Army currently the Army aviation would use, and well, especially those Z20 because it is the latest model, has just made its debut last week. And okay, China is developing helicopter technology really fast, and now what I'm going to show you next is that some really advanced avionics. This is a tech system that's still in development. But however, well, what we're going to do is that this stage is a simulation of the cockpit of helicopters in the future. Let's go and see. Well, this is a simulation of the new generation helicopter cockpit, and you could find that all of these places are monitors. Over here. I'm now sitting on the pilot seat, and in front of me there are 2 cameras. There are 2 screens, and in high definition, and also a big screen is in front of me. That's a simulation of the terrains and also my current situation. I just took off. It seems that we're heading along the valley, and over here you can see. This should be control, but there are 2 large touch screens, and we could have, we could touch it, and over here we have a control. This cursor control over here, and there's a control over here. Okay, what I'm going to show you is the 2 maps here, and we have an introduction over here. Well, this one is called the HTAWS, which means helicopter terrain, and it's called helicopter terrain avoidance and warning system. Oh no, this one. This is the terrain warning system, and you can find that there are stars over here. That's the route, the planned route that we've just imported. And over here, there are red parts and green parts. The green parts means that it is safe for us to travel, and also we can, yeah, you see that? The yellow lines means that we're having power lines in front of us. The helicopters will detect the obstacles and terrains automatically and warn you over here. That's why we're going to avoid it. And over here, this screen, we have a synthetic terrain that will allow the helicopter pilots to know the terrain and the situations, especially in low visibility. for example, in storm or in a dense fog. And that's why the helicopter pilots will know the environment and also fly in almost in an environment that makes people blind. All right, what we have here is a cursor control. It's more like playing a computer game because you don't see so many buttons confuse you. And also we have a trackball here to control it. Okay. Now you can see we're now entering a lake. This is a simulation, so we're now into a water surface, and you can see the tracks over here. That's because the helicopter is carrying out search and rescue missions, and it is searching in a planned route in zigzag way, and to ensure that they don't miss any area. Especially there are people still out there waiting to be rescued. Well, you can see why people are developing this kind of system, because they're trying to make the helicopters easy to use, especially during emergency and rescue missions. Because in China, the territories, the land in China is very unique. It has many highlands. That's why people are developing helicopters that aims to help pilots to fly in plateau areas. So this system is still in development. However, we could see how important this is, and it is possible that it could be deployed in the future generation helicopters. Well, what we're going to see we are going to show you a next generation of heavy lift helicopter, and that's over here. All right. So what we have here is a VR simulation that will allow you to take a look of how China's new generation heavy lift helicopter in the future. Yeah, we're going inside. Yeah, because it takes too much time, so we're only to show you the picture of it. Also, there's a model of it over here. You see, this is the new generation of China's advanced heavy lift helicopter. It is also in development. However, we could take a closer look because this is the latest design. It has a 7-blade rotor wing. There are 7 one. And this helicopter, well, this is the helicopter. This helicopter could be used in plateau areas. Well, I'll let my cameraman to take a closer look. Yeah, of this model. Well, this it is named as Advanced Heavy Lift Helicopter so far because it is a heavy transport helicopter. Well, that is still under development here in China. Well, it is featured with high altitude and high temperature capacity. Well, it can be applied in missions including the emergency relief, emergency medical rescue, large containers. You could see that it could hold large containers in its belly. There are 4 containers, and each of them is a 10-ton container. Well, it has the maximum takeoff lift of 42 tons. Wow, that's really impressive. But the most impressive thing, impressive feature of this helicopter is that it could be used in plateau areas, especially in altitude above 4,500 meters. Well, at this altitude, it could still carry about 5 tons of payload. You could just imagine that it is going to be one of the world's best heavy lift helicopter in the future. All right, that's the second helicopter I'm going to show you. Well, then we're heading this way. It's the third one. The third one is over here. Well, you know, China is also exporting helicopters to other regions in the world. And what I'm going to show you is a third helicopter that is called the Z10E. It's a new model. You see, this is the one. The Z10ME is for export. You can see the differences here because it is in a different color because but it has the same design. It's the same design with Z10, which is the widely used. attack helicopters in China. And over here, that's a Z-20 model. Well, speaking of helicopters, we have to say that while China has the largest helicopter manufacturer is the AVIC. Well, this is their stage. Well, they are the best helicopter makers in China. And over here, it's not just manned helicopters. We are still seeing some unmanned drones, helicopters in this region. Yeah, well, first let's take a look at this one. You know, you can see this is a helicopter with multi-rodders. You know, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 16 rodders. Just imagine how fast this plane could travel. You see, the maximum speed is over 600 kilometers an hour. I think that's still in development. And also over here we have a drone. There's no pilot of this helicopter. Well, this you're seeing is a real one. Yeah, it is called Attack Unmanned Aerial Vehicle. And we have the data here shows that it has a service ceiling about 5,000 meters, and the duration of this helicopter is 8 hours. You can see how far it could travel, and it could cruise at a maximum level flight speed of 160 kilometers an hour. But the weapons it could carry, it seems like air-to-air missiles, yes, and also air-to-ground missiles. Also, it is equipped with a gun over here, and also a large camera. And I think it is for guidance. Over here. Yeah, this is a real one. All right. So the expo has attracted more civilian companies, not just in China, but global major manufacturers globally, and well, they have brought their latest models and also advanced helicopters in the world to China, because China still has a great potential of its general aviation market. Well, so far in the past few years, China's general aviation market, especially the sales of helicopters is rising at a two-figure, yeah, annually. So you can see the potential in it, and especially in the sectors of emergency rescue and also the power line grid maintenance. And what you see behind me is one of the most advanced helicopters in the world. This belongs to the Super Puma family and made by Airbus helicopters. And you could find that this is really a large and advanced model. Well, the Airbus has been working with China for nearly half a century, so you could find that this is really something impressive. And this is the H1215, the first model of Puma family that they brought to China. Let's go and see. 你好，我们昨天已经说了跟咱们。好的，好的，好的。Okay, first let's go around this impressive helicopter. Okay, so this helicopter is painted in red, and you could find that there's marks over here. The words the State Grid General Aviation Company. This belongs to the State Grid, and they're using this helicopter to maintain power lines, especially in the west region of China. Well, it's a very large helicopter, and we could find its data here. Well, it has a level speed of 260 kilometers an hour and can travel about over 1,000 kilometers every one time. And we are today to have an honorable guest Well, who is from the Airbus, Mr. Vincent Dufault. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, this is really impressive helicopter.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, could you please tell us more about this helicopter and what it can do here in China?
Sure. This is a H215 coming from the Super Puma family. So we have delivered last month the 1000th Super Puma in the world, and this is part of this very impressive family covering the H215 and the H225. So we have more than 40 helicopters of this type already in China, but this is the first one in this version which has been delivered to the State Grid General Aviation for high altitude performance, so meaning in the high plateau area, and as well for the heavy logging. So this aircraft will be very good for suiting the emergency management mission, for firefighting, for example, and for disaster relief. So we are already using that worldwide through our different customers that we are also supporting with the Airbus Foundation. And this is able to deliver a lot of goods and also carrying people, carrying firemen, emergency people. So this is very good for that.
So this is the first time you brought this type of helicopter here in China.
We have delivered actually this helicopter to our customer, State Grid. So we had the unveiling ceremony 2 days ago. And that was the reason why we wanted to have this helicopter at the show, in order to really introduce it to the Chinese market in this version, and being able to show this great capability. This one will be more dedicated for the power line construction and to be able to perform also high maintenance at high altitude.
So could we go on board this and show us more
Sure.
inside of it?
We need to open it.
Great, thank you. Well, you're working with the State Grid.
Yes.
So they have this requirement. Yes. They have this requirement of maintaining power lines
Yes.
here in China.
Yes.
But this helicopter, it could be applied to other missions as well.
Yes, of course.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
How many people it could carry?
Hop là.
How many people you could carry this helicopter? It's
In
really
this
large,
version,
right?
this is so-called a short version, so you can carry 17 people.
17 people.
But in the longer version that we have, you can carry up to 24 people altogether.
So it has a really advanced, I see the avionics here, and also it could let how many? Two pilots to operate this helicopter.
You can. There are two pilots, and it's coming with a glass cockpit system, so it's a fully integrated system which has been developed by Airbus Helicopter that you can find also on the 225. So having this type of helicopter, you can use the same simulator. So we have a full flight simulator in our facility in Beijing, which is available, and where the pilot can get familiarization on the 215, sorry, and getting type rating on the 225 because of the similar concept.
So you also have training programs, also maintenance facilities here in China.
Do also be taking care of the support and services, including the maintenance. As you mentioned, we got a company named Sigamek in the south of China with our biggest customer, CUHC, which is the largest operator in Asia and the biggest customer for us in China. And we have this company doing light maintenance up to D-level maintenance for H125. And we are also taking care of the logistic. We have a logistic platform in Hong Kong to take care of all Asia Pacific, and including China, obviously, to be able to provide spare parts to our customer in a short time.
So I'm feeling that this is really a wide and comfortable helicopter. So how long it could travel? I mean,
the short version can cover up to 450 nautical miles. With the long version, you can go up to 600 nautical miles. The main difference is that on the short version, you have one fuel tank less in order to lower the size. And on the longer version, you have this extra tank which gives you extra range.
Okay, thank you. It's really important and also impressive helicopter.
Thank you.
Well, so shall we go? Thank you. So It's really a tall one. And I understand that Airbus has been working with China for quite a long time.
Yes.
Almost 50 years.
More than 50 years, actually.
Yeah, more than 50 years.
We did our first sale in 1967, so it's more than 50 years that we have been present in China, focusing on sales, obviously, but not only. We are working a lot of job on the cooperation. We have been cooperating with AVIC for more than 40 years. And we have especially a common product together, which is the H175 on our side, the AC352, which is a 50-50 helicopter. And we are able to sell this helicopter worldwide. And with the cooperation with our partner, we're also selling it in China, where the China Rescue and Salvage Bureau of the Ministry of Transport has selected this helicopter for search and rescue mission, for offshore mission.
You're building a new final assembly line here in Qingdao for the H135.
Exactly.
Well, you're putting your final assembly lines here in China. Well, what makes you do that?
China market is a very important market. It's these days you have about 1,000 helicopters in China compared to 8,000 in Europe and 12,000 in the US. So the potential of the market is there, and that's our strategy, to be more local and to be able to really provide the necessary product to the market. In Qingdao, we have decided to put this final assembly line in order to provide the best light twin helicopter on the market, which is the H135, providing emergency management services as well as police mission. We already had about 20 helicopters of this type flying in China. And here in display, in this exhibition, we had the first which has been delivered to the Shandong Emergency Management Bureau, who are able to provide emergency medical services, but also any emergency which will be required. So this is one of the 4 helicopters which has been delivered. They have taken delivery end of September. In the program, globally speaking, of 100 helicopters, which has been bought by the UGA, our distributor, which is just there, and which is providing this helicopter to the Chinese market, which will be assembled locally with the EASA PWIS extension, meaning it's quality under EASA to be able to be provided to the Chinese market.
Any new types of helicopters that you're planning to bring to China market?
We are looking at different possibilities. It's not closed. We are looking at the market as well. What are the demand? What are the next challenge? We have a lot of hope in the different missions, like the harbor pilot, for example, or the wind farm offshore. There is a seminar coming in the few weeks now, in a few days actually, where we'll be more and more talking about this mission. We are looking at the development of the market again in emergency management, which is a big topic in China these days. We had a very interesting conference 3 days ago during an AVIC forum on this topic, where we have introduced our different products, and we believe that we are listening to the market and trying to see if there is opportunities.
Any news about the latest model of H160?
The H160 is a very beautiful product, obviously, with a lot of patents. Certification will be reached by end of the year. We have already a couple of customers which are obviously signed this helicopter. We have a particular customer in China already placed a LOI that we hope to convert very soon in a contract, and we will be the launch customer for China.
Thank you, Ramesh. I hope
welcome.
that we could see more helicopters from Airbus in the future. Thank you.
We hope to. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, a very impressive story and news about Airbus. Now we're going to some civil companies, and that's the one over here. Well, it seems that they're not letting me go. 谢谢. Okay, the one behind me is another company, a Chinese company working with Russian companies to develop new models of services here in China. Let's go and talk to them. 您好，您好，丁总您好，帮我们介绍一下吧。谢谢 ，Thank you. Well, this is Manager Ding, and he's going to show us what his company is doing, and also they have these facilities here for emergency rescue missions, and
Great, and thanks for the interview, and honored to introduce this. We call this helicopter simulator here. So as you can see, it's a kind of one-to-one of the real helicopter, and the most special aspect, it will be used to train the medical crews to train them how to you can rescue and transport the patients from the accident scene or from hospitals to a very safe place. So we call it, it's kind of the air ambulance training simulator.
Air ambulance training simulator.
Yes.
Oh, you're helping to train doctors and crew to carry patients through air.
Exactly. And as you know, a helicopter could be used to transport the patients from the first scene of the accidents or from hospitals to hospitals.
Yeah.
But you know, we need upload doctors and nurses on the helicopter. But you know, to carry out the missions, they need to be trained. I mean, they need to get a very professional training. They need to learn how to get uploads in the helicopter. They need to know how to get safely. Like we said, this is a kind of safer zone, and this is a very safe zone, but this is forbidden zone. So they need to be trained to know the environment of the usage. So we said, okay, this could be all used into the air ambulance training. And all the trainees are from the doctors, nurses from hospitals. So
important for them to get the proper training, especially using helicopters in the future.
as we say, it's so important. If you don't get trained, you can't be taking out the missions in the helicopter. So for us, it's a must. You must get trained and use this tool or use this method.
So how many people you're expecting to train in the future annually, especially for general aviation service companies?
For sure, we are very confident and we have the very specific expectation. I think maybe next year we will train around 1,000 medical crews across the China. I mean,
that's very impressive.
yeah, you know, in this year, in the March of this year, the government, Ministry of Healthcare of China, they already released a policy that around the 71 hospitals and EMS centers in China will launch the air ambulance projects in China. So every hospital will send around 9 or 10 doctors, nurses to get trained. So let's say it's a very specific and a very expected amount of the trainees.
So this is a system that China is striving to build lately to train doctors and nurses to use helicopters to transport patients. What about next? What do we have here? I mean, this impressive drone, very large drone here.
Yes. As you can see, it's very large. And first, I want to say this is the only UAV flight platform in this whole exhibition, hall. And it's a kind of like a vehicle design concept, but it could be fly like a helicopter. So we call it the UAV. But it kind of usage of the EMS and firefighting. And for example, when we have a very top building, and like it has 200 meters, and you know there is a very big fire happening. So how could we get access? How to rescue the people out of the scene? Then this platform will be flight directly in like a rotor wing way, and it could be flying directly up and getting access to the building.
We have a picture here. Is that
Yes,
one?
yeah,
That's
it's at the scene. Yeah,
a simulation,
you
right?
can get up
Uh-huh.
and you can take the firefighting machine, and then you can shoot.
there.
You can shoot like kind of gun, and then you can, you know, make the fire stop. And then, most important, people, you could get access to the windows, and the people could jump on the platform.
So people get out, the
Yes.
firefighters go in.
Yeah, firefighters is on the platform. They get the people out. They are not moving. They just get out. People get out.
people out.
Yes, and we want to say they have a very beautiful name. It's Vera. We said easy best Vera. Vera, it's her name. Her name. In Latin language, Vera is angel. We call it, it's kind of flying angel, but it's unmanned flying angel. So could it be used for the firefighting, for the emergency management service?
So how high this UAV will go?
Basically, it will be flying up to 300 meters, but for the maximum height, it will be around 800 and 1,000 meters. But normally, it could be at 300 meters. It's working.
Very impressive.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you
Great.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
想到里面拍一张。
Oh, we could go inside?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we could go inside this simulator.
This is forbidden zone, but
This
now
is
it's
forbidden zone. Please. So we're now going inside this helicopter simulator. I'm sitting here. Right.
This is a wheelchair
For-
position.
uh-huh.
It's a simulation. Okay. Yeah. So why ask you to come into this helicopter? Because it's really a very valuable opportunity. You can feel the environment inside of the cabin. The patient will be loaded on a stretcher and over here, and it could be fixed very steady. And the fixed framework, and the stretcher will be loaded here, fixed, and all the basic life support machines are all on the wall.
What are these equipments?
So this is a life base. We call it kind of CPR, and like kind of breathing machine could keep the patient alive. So you can see their heart tracking waves, and you can use this to put the medical liquid into their body, and you can make them to take some things out of their throat. So we call this the basic life support, like a kind of we have ground ambulance, but this is an air ambulance. So it's we could save lives on the.
I have a question. So what's the difference of ambulance, especially inside of the ambulance, while you're traveling in air and traveling on the ground? What's the difference here?
First, the difference is the different vehicles. Different methods. Ground vehicle is by cars, and the air ambulance is by helicopters or like fixed-wing aircrafts. And secondly, they use doctors and nurses, but they need to be trained in different situation, different environment. But for the support, medical treatment is almost the same. Yeah. But
transporting patients
yeah.
is different, but the procedures here
Yeah.
is similar to an ambulance on the ground in a car, inside a car.
yes, but there is a very big difference. The safe is very important for the flight. So the safety training, how to get access to the helicopter, how to ensure the environment is safe, how to ensure the patient safe in a flying environment. So the training is so important. But we have to say, ambulance is a very efficient way to get more lives saved in a very short time. Some people need to very
As fast as possible.
yes, very heavy injured people in a car accident. Only 1 hour time to make their alive. So the helicopter landed there, take the doctors, make some care of him, then take him out of the accident, so they could be saved. So we call this a kind of a flying angel also. Yes.
You're really planning to help a lot of people. With your UAVs over here and training us over here.
That's our principle. That's our spirit. We are trying to help to save more lives, from ground to the air, from ground vehicle to the aircraft. So that's our spirit.
Thank you. Very impressive. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. See you. All right. Very impressive. They're conducting business here in China and also using technologies and working with companies, mainly from Russia. And now what we have here, this is the UAV. A very impressive conceptual design here. And if you need to take a closer look, this is the concept that this UAV will take firefighters directly up to buildings that is on fire and to evacuate people trapped in a fire. This is a very good solution. If it could really brought into practice for high-rise buildings, and also you can find that the engines here could be moved, and also it could be transported through road. This is very easy to use. To bring this UAV to the scene and then let it fly. Okay, so we're going to our last helicopter. Well, it is this one. This is a Bell helicopter. Well, it also belongs to the state grid. You can see that the state grid is paying a lot of attention to buy these helicopters and to maintain the power lines over here. Okay, let's go this way. Well, China has a rising need to buy more helicopters to maintain power grids, to provide MES, and also to use in public security and also in transport. What we're seeing here is another one belongs to the state grid, general aviation. Let's talk to the people from Bell to see what's their opinion about the China's market and what they've been doing here during the past few years, especially providing service and maintenance to helicopters here. 你好，那个郭伟在吗？对，你帮我找一下他。你好，请问郭伟在吗？他在这儿呢。Hey. So we are here to have one of the sales manager, Guo Wei from Bell Company, and okay, over here, please. Yeah. Well. And what they've been doing using this one. There's a modification over here. What this is for?
Hooking people going up and down, and also for sorry, this is hook.
Yeah, hooking people down.
Yeah, it's we call it a hoist. This one is made in U.S. as a Goodrich brand. We're using the hoist to hover people going up and down. And in some rescue missions, we can, when the people they can move, we can using the hook to put people down.
So this is a widely adopted modification of helicopters.
Yes.
So what's the name of this? What's the type of this helicopter?
The model is a Bell 429.
Bell 429.
429, yes. It's a twin engine helicopter, and this one is a brand new, just delivered to general, the state grade general aviation.
Any unique feature of this helicopter, or shall we go on board and see anything?
We can go
there, over here. Pilots. Oh, okay, over here. Okay, thank you. So we're now on board of Bell 429, right?
Yes.
Bell 429. It has 6 seats over here. So any more features of this helicopter?
Okay, this one Bell Helicopter 429. They have 8 seats. They have 2 seats for the pilots and 6 seats for the passengers. And this one can fly over like 650 kilometers in the range. Yeah, and it can last for 3 hours. And the maximum speed could be reached like 300 kilometers per hour. Yeah.
So we're seeing that this is for the state grid.
State grid.
So any modifications that you made for them?
In Beijing, we have 429 is modified for the Beijing emergency service. We have stretchers and also the oxygen, and for some emergency for the first aid, and for the patient transfer. Yeah, and in some other countries, they're using for the police, for the agriculture, and for the VIP commute flight.
It's really a wide and comfortable seats with also cargo places behind me, and I think these places are for passengers,
yes,
right? And those 2 pilots over here, and we could see that there's nothing. This is the entire space with no blockings over here. Yeah. So I think this is very important to communicate, for the pilots communicate with.
Yeah, for some of our VIP customer, they want some privacy talk, so we can set up like a wall or the glass between the cockpit, with pilots and the passengers. Yeah.
For people working in a complex environment, they need to communicate more efficiently, so they would leave this place open.
Yeah, because sometimes when most people they are first time taking the Bell 429, they are so impressed, and some people they talking loudly, and that one will affect pilots' control.
We have this microphone.
Exactly. So the pilots they have some control panel. They can stop the communication between this passenger with the pilot. And for the more privacy, they set up a glass wall here. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Shall we go down there?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I have a few questions about the market in China.
Okay.
So China is having a helicopters. So what's your expectation about China's market? I mean, from what you've seen in the past few years.
China's the market for general aviation grows very fast in the last 5 years. I remember in 2014 there are still only like 300 helicopters, but now we almost reached 1,000. So it's a double, it's triple, right? And now people they especially the management of the country, they realized how important the helicopter could do. So more people. If you buy a new car, then you can buy the insurance for the helicopter rescue. And now China has maybe 120 the rescue helicopters now. It's so fast and also the largest fleet in Asia. Yeah.
Oh, in Asia.
Yeah. Also now people, if you travel to the northeast China, you can see the people using the helicopter and some fixed wings for the agricultural spray. That's more efficiency than the people just taking a tractor or something contractor.
Which sector do you believe that will have the most great potential of growth in the future?
We believe in China the most urgent the helicopter for Chinese people need probably is a big, like this one, the twin engine, yeah. Because now in China, the low altitude sky is still not open. The Air Force control the sky. So for the air touring and some transport need is not such urgent. But for this the rescue mission, for the EMS and other related with industry and agriculture, that will be more urgent need.
We'll have more needs.
Yes.
What we're seeing here is
the
state grid operating.
Yes, state grid using the can check maybe like 500 or 600 kilometers per day.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, here that's from the military. More people, and the one you're seeing is a Z10 hovering above the designated location. So we are now. That's all about today's show, and we have guided through the main exhibition hall with several types of helicopters. And now that's all about today's live. And then you can see this is the end. Over here, that's the Z10. Well, thank you for watching, and bye bye.